Hey guys, what's up? Pastor Matt here. Thanks for checking into the YouTube channel. Hey, we have some incredible news to share with you. Thank you so much for watching this video. We are ready to get the church plant going. Now, we've been talking about this for some time. That Gospel Fellowship PCA, that's my church right here. Solid Bible-believing, Christ-preaching, Reformed church just north of Pittsburgh. Us and our team with Ascension Presbytery, for those of you who aren't Presbyterian, Presbyterian churches work together in regionalized, geographically located groups of churches called presbyteries. We're team players. We believe in supporting each other prayerfully and otherwise. We are ready to get our church plant up and rolling. We've been wanting to do this forever now. Ascension Presbytery has been talking about getting a church plant going in a particular area in our county that is growing like crazy. And Gospel Fellowship, my church, my elders, we want to be right in the center of all of that. And so for some months now, there's been a plan to launch a new church in a strategic location. Now, just so you're aware, we happen to be in a part of the country here in western Pennsylvania that is just growing by leaps and bounds. I realize not every place is like that. Some suburbs are growing, others not so much. Some cities are on the way up, some are on the way down. We just happen to be in a part of the country where developments are coming in everywhere. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people like the way it used to be. Some people prefer the way it's going to be. Doesn't matter. Either way, we have a ton of people coming into our particular area. In fact, from my parking lot, I can literally stick my head out the door and I can listen to the bulldozers putting in just less than a half a mile from here a new development of 60 plus homes, and then another mile or so down the road, 60 more homes coming in. So we have over 120 new households coming into our own neighborhood. So we're expecting growth. We're going to keep preaching the gospel of Christ here at Gospel Fellowship PCA. But about 20 minutes or so away, half an hour away, depending on which way you're driving and where you're coming from, there is a certain pocket of three cute little towns: Evans City, Zelienople, and Harmony. Beautiful places, all three of them. And our presbytery has been wanting to put a church there for a while because we know this place is up and going. Developments on the drawing board all over the place, and the population is just going to go boom in a couple of years from now. And so the plan is that we would get a church plant up and running as and before all that takes place. So here's the plan. We wanted to get a Bible study started in the northern part of Cranberry. This is a blossoming city in our area. Some of it's already been planted by good Bible-believing churches. Not so many Reformed churches, though, distinctively Reformed churches. But we actually want to get north of Cranberry to those three towns I mentioned: Zele, Harmony, Evans City. That's where the future growth is really going to be. And if you look at a map, there's some churches, but not a lot of conservative churches, not a lot of Bible-believing, Christ-exalting churches, and certainly not many with Reformed convictions at all. So this is the niche. This is strategically missionary, strategic ground that we need to get going here. And so here's the good news. We finally have a place to meet. It's been a bit of an odyssey. Didn't quite expect this. We originally had a location, and 48 hours before our first meeting, they called us and told us that unfortunately it's not going to work out. So we got pretty bummed there. We went to another place. We thought this was going to work out, and when they found out that we were Bible-believing, Christ-preaching, Reformed conservatives, they almost literally, not exactly literally, almost literally chased us out of the door. It was very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable, awkward meeting. Then we had another place that we thought was going to be perfect, and unfortunately that one didn't work out at the last second either. Finally, however, we have a place. We're going to be meeting for the next couple of months at the Evans City Fire Hall, right in town. Perfect location. Beautiful second floor hall. We could fit 100 or more people. Right now we have a dozen or so, maybe a couple dozen people that are interested, but we're going to be meeting every Wednesday night except for the holidays from here out there at the Evans City Fire Hall. And I think it's going to work out perfect. We've got a space that we could put some kids if we get some kids and youth. We don't have any of that ministry up and organized yet. But we're going to continue on with Bible studies there at the Evans City Fire Hall on Wednesday nights at 6:30. We're working through the Gospel of Mark, and the teaching duties will be shared between yours truly, my associate pastor David O'Leary, We've got Walt Coppersmith, who's a missionary to Japan, who's helping out quite a bit, and some other pastors and teaching elders, maybe even some ruling elders from Ascension Presbytery. We're doing this as a team. It's finally happening. And the good news is we can start saying now that every single Wednesday night, except for the holidays, we're going to be there teaching the Bible, growing a Reformed church. It is so awesome to be a part of this. Now, let me say this about Presbyterians and church planting, okay? We're not necessarily so good at it. In fact, over the last 100 years, this is a bit embarrassing, but here goes. Most of the churches that Presbyterians plant have been planted for two reasons. Number one, because the main body of the denomination has gone heretical and we have to leave it, so that's happened a couple of times. Or number two, we get mad at each other and we fracture and we splinter group, just like Paul and Barnabas had to split ways. Barnabas chose Mark, Paul chose Silas. And so we multiply despite ourselves, all right? So despite our very best intentions, God uses us even as we step all over ourselves and trip on our own shoelaces. This time, though, this is incredibly unique in the history of Presbyterianism because we're planting a church on purpose. And the good news is that nobody's mad at each other. Can you believe that? Presbyterians planting churches and nobody's upset? Yeah, that's exactly what's happening here. And so it's awesome to be on the good side of Presbyterian church planting history. Now, look, even as I say that, I know you can mention a number of Presbyterian church plants that are fantastic and were planted for the right reasons. I'm not debating that. I'm not disputing that. Presbyterians have been great in terms of missions and church planting in the past. All I'm simply saying is, and I do think it's a fact, if you look at the last 100 years, many, I don't have numbers, I don't have statistics, I don't have a pie graph for you, many Presbyterian churches are planted for those two reasons, unfortunately, because of heresy and or schism, possibly both. But it's so refreshing and wonderful to be on the good side of Presbyterian church planting movements. Our denomination, the PCA, has been trying really hard in the past couple decades, to plant churches for all the right reasons, so that the name of Jesus Christ would be extolled and his kingdom would disperse throughout all of the earth. Habakkuk 2:14, may the knowledge of the Lord cover the earth as the waters cover the sea. It's awesome to be part of it. It's a thrill, it's an excitement, it's a joy to do this. And so here's the reason that I'm posting this video. I need your help. Number one, the simplest thing you could possibly do is share this with anyone that you know that lives in those three cities, Zelian, Opal, Evans City, or Harmony, or the area thereabouts. There's some major roads that head into that direction. It looks like we're going to be in Evans City, at least for the time being, but you've got several thoroughfares headed right to and from Evans City, so it's an awesome little pocket to plant the church. In fact, serendipitously, David and I, we were going out to scout a possible place that I thought would be cool. It was, interestingly, the museum for the Night of the Living Dead movie. Now, for those of you who don't know, a little local history here. The old cult classic horror movie, the zombie flick, Night of the Living Dead, the original one, the black and white, was filmed right here on location in our area. There's a ton of Western Pennsylvania references. If you watch the movie, it's kind of neat. Butler Hospital's mentioned, Youngstown is mentioned, Pittsburgh is mentioned a number of times. When it's filmed in the Evans City Cemetery. So fast forward, there was a museum for the Night of the Living Dead movie, and apparently it's sequels, although I don't know much about those. And it went out, it actually moved to a different location. We were considering trying to get the Night of the Living Dead Museum, and I was gung-ho about this for a moment because then we could call it Resurrection Presbyterian Church. I thought that'd just be really clever and funny and great. Turns out we didn't get that building, but here's, to make a long story short, the guy who was selling the building, we sat down and had coffee with him, and he was telling us about the future plans for Evans City. There's going to be this development here, and this neighborhood's going to grow, and he was just thrilled. I don't even know if he has faith or what faith he is, but he was thrilled for the future of Evans City, and his enthusiasm about this particular location was awesome. So when we ended up getting the Evans City Fire Hall just a little bit later after that meeting, man, David and I, we were just pumped thinking about the future potential for this area. So the most simple thing you can do is please share this video or the news that there's a Reformed church coming into Evans City, share this as broadly and as widely as you're able to share it on social media. Tag people, send it to people, email people if you know anyone in the area that's looking for a church. Second thing, join us. We'd love for you to come visit us. If you do happen to be in the area, come on over. Wednesday nights, Evans City Fire Hall, right in town. Just give it a Google. And we'll meet you there on every Wednesday night for the foreseeable future. Holidays notwithstanding. Once we get into 2022, we're going to evaluate the usage of that space and we'll see how it goes. My feeling is it's going to go just fine. If we need to make a change, we will. If we don't, we'll stay. But we'd love for you to personally participate in this. And then the third thing, and I realize this is a bit of a remote ask because some of you watch from all over the place, but there's a mechanism to contribute to this financially. We're of course going to need some capital. We want to hire a church planter at some point. We have needs, we have costs, we've got to get things up and rolling. There's 1,000 different things that we would need to and like to acquire for this church planting venture. And so one of the ways that you can simply give to this, I hate to even talk about money, but on our website, the Gospel Fellowship PCA website, just search Gospel Fellowship PCA. Or my name, you'll probably find it that way too. There is on the giving page a toggle down option where you can give directly to church planting. And that'd be really cool because wherever you are, I'm sure you care about the Great Commission. Here we are doing it for all the right reasons, and I believe the right place. Hopefully we'll do it the right way. And if you believe in that too, hey, help us out, man. That'd be great. We'd like to hire a church planter. We'd like to get some stuff that we're going to need. All kinds of costs involved in church planting. Our church is putting a big step forward in this. Other churches in the Ascension Presbytery are as well. But if you have any interest in financially supporting us, again, go to Gospel Fellowship PCA, click on the giving page, toggle down to church planting, and you can help us out. All right. Thank you so much. Do love you lots. Thanks for watching this video. It's good to have good news, and we got good news for you. Love you lots, and we'll talk to you later.